Honestly, I wish I knew more if I look back at it.
Yeah, definitely I was like really worried, scared for you. I think I was really shocked when I saw her. One particular food that has still traumatized me is like, it wasn't really the birth that traumatized me, it was actually the first. Like, I laugh at it now because it's so funny, but that's how traumatized I was. Like, I was on the wall just crying like for 2 hours. Like, I think that's just like the reality of what it is to become a mom, but not a lot of moms talk about it.
As soon as he popped out, she like just hugged him and started crying, and
I think that was like such a big difference to see in her.
Hi, I'm Philip.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and this is our son Evan. And today we're here to share with you our experience of what it's like to become parents for the first time when it comes to having a baby, pregnancy, giving birth, and what it's like to have a newborn at home.
Hi, I'm Joyce. And I'm Debbi, and we're Jenny's sisters. We've been there every step of the way helping Jenny and Philip out, and we're excited to share what it looks like helping out first-time parents.
Whether you're thinking about having a baby, going through pregnancy, or already in the thick of it, this is the honest conversation you're going to want to see.
So when did you guys first start seriously talking about having a baby?
2 years ago, I would say.
Pretty much a blur, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, we always wanted kids, but for me, I think it was, I want to have a kid before 30. We're turning 30 this year. That was just one. And the other thing was just
Our relatives.
relatives and families asking, right? We've been married for 5 years now? Yeah. So it's, you know, we get people asking, like, are you going to have kids? Planning to have kids? Yeah, we always had kids in mind. Yeah, we didn't know exactly when. Yeah, it just happened. Yeah.
So was there like a moment where it just felt right? And did you guys have like any doubts that this time wasn't right?
I expected like pregnancy to take like maybe a year or two from hearing from other moms or other people that around me, but for us it happened like right away.
So for me, I talked to Jenny recently about it too. It's in our marriage life, I think I personally thought like, oh, I want something, gets more. Almost every day routinely became same and all these things, but I wanted more. I think it was a challenge of mine in a way. What can I do to, you know, elevate our life, new challenges, kind of like that. It's just a mindset of mine. I thought I was prepared somewhat, but I do want a kid. I think I'm pretty settled with what we're doing right now, and I could add on top of it, right? Because it's a big responsibility to have a life coming and you have to raise a child. Yeah, that's just the thought process I had. I thought we were ready as mom, like becoming mom and dad, because I thought we were pretty set on our marriage life. We're settled when it came to like money and finances, but also just our life stage. So I thought I was ready.
And how did your vision of parenthood compare to the reality so far?
It's different. I think a lot of parents are maybe too scared to like share the dark parts. Maybe kind of scares other new like wanting parents. So for what I've seen and what I've heard, I've only seen like the good parts, which is like, oh, it's amazing, like it's the best experience. And I think I was a little bit too naive on that. But they don't really share the realistic day-to-day like details of what it's like to raise a newborn. And I think that's what kind of like was a little struggle. It was a bit of a challenge, but I think there's good into that. I think I haven't done much of my own research when it comes to that, and I just kind of blindly like just took in the surface level of what being a parent would be like. Now dealing with it face on, it's been great. You know, it's a learning challenge as a parent. So
What was it like when you guys found out you were pregnant? And were you guys excited, scared, anxious, or nervous?
I don't know if this is like TMI, but like I was late and I happened to have a test just in case. And when I tried it, I saw a slight, like, you know, faint double line, but I was like, you know, I'm not sure. So originally I called her, she didn't pick up, and happened to right that timing she called. And I was like, hey, can you confirm with me on this? If it's like double, if it's confirmed, and turns out I was. And I told my husband. I don't think you were like, first, we're both kind of skeptical.
I was excited. Obviously, we planned it. We weren't blindsided by it. We were planning to have kids, but I was surprised. We had, like, you know, we planned it and it happened right away. We tested twice and we're like, oh, I think she is pregnant, but it really hit hard when we went to the doctors and confirmed she was pregnant. Yeah.
And for Joyce and Debbi, what were you guys' first reaction when hearing about Jenny's pregnancy?
Well, it came out of complete shock because I just FaceTimed her to tell her about my day. and she just popped out a pregnancy test. And so it was a complete shock, and I couldn't really believe it at first. I was kind of skeptical until I also went to the doctors with them, and I saw Jenny's ultrasound, and I think that's when it also clicked for me as well. When I first heard it, it was really surreal, and I couldn't really believe it. It took a while for me to actually process that there was a human being growing in her body. Obviously, a lot of joy, but I think there was a lot of fear in that as well. I'm like, okay, well, now we gotta like protect her, make sure that she's safe, that she doesn't do anything. So yeah, I think it was just like a lot of like joy with apprehension mixed in.
So what surprised you most in the first trimester, and what were some of the weirder or harder symptoms to deal with?
The fact that I have like a living being in me and that I am responsible for it now. So whatever I eat or do, my actions all determine the health. Honestly, the first couple weeks, you don't really feel like any movement. So it just feels like yourself. I think the worst part was like me being nauseous, the morning sickness, but also during the day and night. Food aversions, so certain things that I like enjoy, which was like sweets, like ice cream and stuff, I hated it, like the smell of it. One particular food that has still traumatized me is like rotisserie chicken. So like I still like I'm done with it, but the smell and taste still gets me, and I think that's been permanent with me now. So I think that's like the downside of one.
Chicken in general.
I guess like and chicken is one of my favorite foods, so.
And for Joyce and Debbi, what was it like watching Jenny, your sister, going through pregnancy? And were there things that you guys helped with that people don't usually talk about?
It was honestly really scary. Like her first trimester, she had really bad morning sickness. So then there was time where we were like, is she gonna make it? Because she wasn't able to down anything. Like everything that she ate, it would just come up. So we're like, is she getting any nutrition? And she was also, I think, just mentally going through a really hard time, because she's not able to like keep down food. And so I think for me, like for her first trimester, we were out. I mean, I was just really worried about her. Yeah, she's a warrior, and she pulled through, and she was able to get better. And then as she entered her second and third trimester, things definitely were getting better and were settling down with your morning sickness and stuff. But yeah, definitely I was like really worried and scared for you, just because you had such like intense symptoms. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think I was really shocked when I saw her food aversion, just because she's like a person who loves food. But like seeing her throw up everything and not being able to eat, that kind of like took me by surprise. And I think something that a lot of people like don't really talk about is that when she was going through all of these like emotions, they always talk about having really good family support, and that's obviously what she had. But we couldn't take away like any of the physical things that she was going through. Although like we can help her mentally or like emotionally, we weren't able to take away like her nauseousness. We weren't able to like get her nutrition or anything like that. And so that was kind of like hard seeing her suffer through that portion, because I don't know about Debbi, but like it just felt really helpless for me watching her. But I think in that way, it also made me realize that like just being there for her is enough. Like watching her like, or like talking about TikToks together, or like taking her out to the mall and just like letting her forget and heal emotionally, I think was enough support for at least like me.
So Jenny, how did pregnancy impact your mental health or daily routines?
I think the beginning of the first trimester was pretty rough. Like as you can hear, like I was going through pretty much all the symptoms. Not being able to eat, just the morning sickness, everything was just making me nauseous. I think second trimester is when I was feeling myself was a lot better. The food cravings definitely came in. I was craving a lot more. I was able to eat more, feeling myself, and I did travel a lot during that time too. So I think mentally it was also really great. And then the third trimester, still pretty good too. Like I was still traveling. I was able to go on vacation, like baby moon. But like towards the end, mentally, I wasn't really prepared, because you can't really prepare for what's going to happen to you. So I think that was something like I kind of was like just not thinking too much about and just having to just go with the flow. But overall, pretty good.
So what was delivery like compared to what you expected?
Hey there, if you love this conversation so far, we'd love to see you subscribe and support this channel that will provide content centered around health and wellness.
I delivered at week 39, which is still technically full term. I ended up going through contractions, and turns out it wasn't as big of a contraction, but which led me to go through, what's the word, induce?
Induce.
Induce, sorry. I think because I was so unprepared and not knowing how to get ready, it was a bit rough. I think it was 24 hour.
So yeah, so when people say like, oh, we were in labor for, I don't know, 5 hours, right? Well, technically she was in labor for like 2 hours, but the thing is, you get to the hospital, they check if you're ready to be in labor. So we were technically in the hospital for 2 days or so. We were expecting like, oh, that night or the morning of, or she's going to give birth. Well, she did end up giving birth in the morning, so, but it took a while. And then labor, like, it's different from, oh, you could have water breaking and give labor right away. But yeah, we were, I guess, expecting like, oh, it'll happen.
Like, it
When
would
we go to
happen
hospital, it will happen. But actually, we have to go to hospital and wait, and they'll keep on checking up on you until either your water breaks or she's ready to give birth. I guess we weren't like too well knowledge when it came to that.
This is like a first time, so as a first parent, you're just not aware of all these things. So I think we expected to have a smoother transition, but ended up taking
Right.
a lot longer than expected.
We packed like the food for just that day. So
And close for just that.
and so it ended up like
4 days.
Yeah, we ended up after giving birth too. It ended up staying for longer than what we thought would be in the hospital for.
So for Joyce, Debbie, and Philip, what was going through your minds during delivery? Were you guys nervous, excited, anxious?
I was excited. I was also nervous. If I think back, it's kind of a blur because it was hectic in my head. I didn't know like if I'm providing enough support for my wife or if I'm doing things right way. Honestly, I wish I knew more. If I look back at it, like I wish I knew what to ask the nurses if they're doing their job properly. Because I think in some aspect of it, I think sometimes if you are kind of blinded and not know because you're a first parent, you won't get enough help. Like you're supposed to support your wife, but sometimes you just find it, so you just go with whatever the nurses tell you to do. So stuff like that. I was super excited at the time, very nervous. And then when delivery came by, it was very emotional. I was very proud of her. Honestly, I see Jenny very differently than I saw her before giving birth. Yeah, I'm not a very emotional person, but I did get very emotional at the moment of seeing Evan coming out and Jenny just pushing really hard. So a lot of ups and downs, right? A lot of emotions. Like there's joy, but there's also like parts of it where you feel sad because you're seeing your wife in pain. That labor 2 hours, honestly, it's really unforgettable. It's great, actually, to be honest. I know Jenny said, "Oh, I don't think you'll be able to see me go through it, right?" Yeah, no, I was surprised myself. I hate blood, to be honest. Like I can't do like gory stuff. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't too bad. I was hyper focused and trying to have her push the baby out, and it was great. Like, I don't know, it's hard to describe in words the feeling you get when you see your kid come out.
You mentioned that you wish you knew more questions that you could ask the nurse and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you end up learning what questions you should have asked? And
So
if so, could you?
I'm not saying all nurses are like this, and you just go with they tell you these things because you don't know, and they're like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be, right? I wish I questioned things more to the nurses, like asking more questions. It's like one example, after she gave birth, the lactation lady came way later. So funny thing is, we were trying to breastfeed the baby, but we were doing it wrong. She couldn't end up breastfeeding for a while because she got like cuts on her nipple. So we just followed whatever the nurse told us. They kind of, what do you call that word?
Skimmed over things.
Yeah, like teaching, like
Yeah, half-hearted.
yeah, they kind of half-heartedly told us how to do it and just walked away. And I wish I would have more been attentive and knew that. Obviously, I didn't know at the time. I thought they knew better than me. Obviously, they know more than me at the time, so I kind of entrusted my gut with whatever they told us to do. At the end, the day before we were supposed to leave the hospital, the lactation lady came and she's like, "Oh, you've been doing it wrong," and then she needs to rest. Because so the baby, we couldn't really get the baby to breastfed. We had to like pump. Yeah, so there are some downsides for sure. I wish I could have done things better and questioned more and be more firm with the nurses. We had great nurses, but we also have, you're there for bays and you have different nurses coming in different shift. So we did have some nurses who were not very helpful. Wish I could have be more firm and spoke about it and have them help us.
Yeah, I guess to add on to Philip's, like, I think it was really about advocating for Jenny's health. Like, I know that nurses go through a lot, and, you know, a lot of times they work a lot of hours and a lot of shifts, and they see this happening, like, every single day of their lives. And so for them, it's very normalized. But for us, Jenny and Philip were going through it for the first time.
Right.
Debbi and I were witnessing this for the first time. And so we obviously had a lot of questions and, like, a lot of worries for our sister. But I think there were times where we felt a little bit, like, ashamed or hesitant to ask questions or ask for help, just because I don't know about them for them, but, like, I knew that the nurses were really busy, so I didn't want to trouble them more. At the same time, I think maybe we should have to advocate for Jenny's help and to see, like, what's going to be the best option for Jenny in terms of, like, breastfeeding, or when the baby is having difficulty pooping, or, like, small things like that. I think we were trying to push it off to the side, but we should have fought for it.
It's really important to just emphasize, like, it's not selfish for you to advocate for help, especially when you don't know what you're doing and you're confused or you're lost. Because I think that was all of us. We didn't know how to take care of this baby because it's all new to all of us. So I think there's no shame in asking for help from professionals who are trained to help you, and that's their job. And yeah, I think we were just really trying to be respectful and cautious because they work really hard. But at the end of the day, like, I think we could have done a better job asking for clarification or asking for help when needed. I think we were just a little bit too afraid to offend or too afraid to bother. And I feel like that was a detriment to Jenny's health. And yeah, I feel like we could have done that a little bit better.
Sorry, I was coming, baby. I just heard.
Yeah, we good.
Can you describe your experience of your first week at home with Evan? And do you guys have any moments where you're like, we have no idea what we're doing?
Okay, so when we first arrived, we actually, fun fact, we hired a doula for the 2 weeks. So a doula is someone that is not medically professional, but they are well equipped to know and how to raise a newborn and, like, helps train you to know what to do. So we hired someone like her, and when we came, I think typically me and my husband, we like to keep the house kind of cool, but it was really hot. It was a furnace. Yeah, so I think that was, like, the first start, you know, like, we were both hot. Just the first week was, I think, the most difficult part. I think it's because as a mom, physically you want to do all these things and you want to provide and, you know, breastfeed and move around. But I think for me, I was, like, just bedridden because of all the trauma that I went through when it comes to my body, the stitching and all that. The first week was very rough, I would say.
And did anything go the opposite way from what you expected?
What I saw on social media and stuff, I seen a lot of moms get right back up and, you know, they're moving, and I expected that kind of for myself as well. So seeing myself not able to do the things I wanted to do was very frustrating mentally, emotionally, just, you know, not in the right place. And I think that's why, as you guys probably experienced, I had the baby blues, which is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like postpartum depression, but not necessarily the severe end, but just the first couple weeks, which is like a new struggle for me. But overall, I think just not as prepared as I thought I would be, because I kept comparing myself with other moms. Like, the hospital doesn't really tell you what to do. They just, you know, hand you the baby and they're like, all right, like, good luck. You're good to go. And you're just kind of like, like, what, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I wish I was told more advice or, you know, more, I guess, help from professionals. So I think that's what I expected or wanted. So not having that was very difficult.
And I think it was hard for you because you were also getting advice from, like, everywhere, like mom, dad, grandma, like in-laws, everywhere, like, and it was all different, like what they were expecting from her. And so obviously that's really stressful. And on top of that, like, the dude was like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't drink this, you can't keep the room cold, you have to wear socks, and all these, like, rules that just probably added to your stress. Your recovery just took longer than most people because you had some, like, complications, and that was just really, like, stressing you out too. Honestly, I would say, like, the first month was really
Honestly, not the first week, you know what, scratch that. The first 2 months was like,
and I think with, like, Asian parents, like, they have a lot of
superstition.
yes, superstitions, and I think in a way it kind of led to, like, unintentional mom shaming Jenny. Like, oh, like, I told you not to drink cold water, like, that's why you're still in bed, or like,
you got up too quickly, like that's why you're not healing, or like you should be breastfeeding by now. Like when I gave birth, like I was up and walking and breastfeeding my kids up until they were 3, and I don't think that they realized that Jenny went through major like trauma on her body, and like this is like her first week back. Like Debbi said, like 8 people were telling her what to do. As a sister, like on the sides, like seeing that was really frustrating because I think that contributed to Jenny's stress and her anxiety of like, oh, am I doing this correctly? Like, can I be a good mom? So I think that's something that like wasn't really spoken about in their family, but something I definitely saw was happening.
Evan has to eat, so
Was that why he's fussy?
yeah, I forgot it.
You know, he waited for pretty long time.
He did.
How old is he now?
He's almost 2 months. The 27th will be
Next week.
The next week will be officially his 2 months. It's crazy because like a month ago he was like this. Now he's like.
Yeah, but it's all.
Were there any funny or unexpected moments or memories from that first week?
I think for me, this might be too TMI, but I think maybe new moms might know the first poop. So like it wasn't really the birth that traumatized me. It was actually the first poop that traumatized me. A lot of moms didn't talk too much about it because there's so much like stigma and fear and not preparing you for that. Because of that, it was such a like, you know, simple thing, like you just go relieve yourself, but that just caused so much trauma. I think about it now, it's funny, but at the time it was so traumatic. It feels like you're about to give birth again, but this time without the epidural.
She's
So
scared she's gonna tear something, or, right? And then she hasn't pooped for like days, so she's like, you get constipated, right? I wouldn't know, but the poop's probably very hard.
yeah,
Right?
it felt like
Psychologically, it's hard. Also, I'm sure it's also painful.
no, it felt like I was gonna like go through labor, but just without the drugs on, you know. So I think that's why it was very like mentally like hard for me.
Yeah, because at one point, like, we bought her, like, prune juice, we bought her, like, laxative, like, postpartum safe, but,
Right.
like, it would not come out.
She'll try to poop, and she'll be too scared to like release it.
It was just painful.
It was just like this, like
Scared to release it, so like yeah, we had to try multiple times, and we had to buy what is that thing? It's like a stick.
no, it's not.
Isn't it?
It's like, there's a word for it.
Yeah, it's like a it's like a liquid in there.
A liquid. Okay, this is going too TMI.
What?
It's pretty much like this little bottle has like a little stick, and like I laugh at it now because it's so funny. But that's how traumatized I was. Like I was on the wall just crying like for 2 hours. Like
Yeah.
I think that's just like the reality of what it is to become a mom. But not a lot of moms talk about it. Maybe there's a lot of shame or not a lot of like talk or discussions. But that's something I definitely was my first memory.
Speaking of poop, there was a time where the doula, she was changing his diaper and there was poop inside. So we're like, okay, let's go wash him in the sink because she doesn't like using wet wipes. So she took him like to the sink, butt facing toward like a gun. like holding him like this.
Yeah.
He blasts all over the bathroom wall.
Like, no, it's horizontal.
Yeah, just like shot straight out from his butthole all over the wall. And so she was really shocked because that was the first time she's ever seen that too. And we all come upstairs and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to scrape this like this yellow stuff off this wall. It's not coming off. It's probably still there.
It's like water. It's like a water.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just mixed with the little solids, you know? So
It looked like spaghetti sauce
yeah.
on a wall because I was at work when she sent me that picture, and I was like, why were they eating spaghetti in the bathroom? And then I see the text and it's like, OMG, he just pooped. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, too.
Yeah, and so we're like, if this is a regular occurrence, like we're in trouble. We need to wear like a guard before we change his diapers. But I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Still there. So
Yeah.
we have to paint it.
Yeah, it made some stain.
Yeah.
But I think coming home, we would just wanted to leave the hospital. At least I think the first day when we came, we were pretty relieved, and we did not have the greatest experience at the hospital. So it's like,
So remember how? So me and Phil, we originally thought it would be like a 1 or 2 day kind of hospital.
yeah.
We ended up staying for like I think four days.
4 days, yeah.
And because of the little preparation that we had too on our end, I think that's why it was like a bit more difficult.
We wanted to leave, and they were like, oh, you can't leave until the doctor says okay. And the doctor came like super late to check us out. Because we were like, oh, we're expecting to leave at lunchtime. And they were like, yeah, whenever the doctor comes. He never showed up. And he showed up like late, around like 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we left at around 9 o'clock.
Exhausted.
Exhausted, yeah. And for new parents out there, you're not gonna get a lot of sleep. Like the baby's gonna be constantly fed every 2 hours. Either dad or mom with breastfeeding, somebody has to be up to feed the baby, soothe the baby. First week, kind of rough. Looking back.
I think the first 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
For Joyce and Debbie, what did your support look like once they came home? Did you guys have to do any meal prepping, any babysitting, or just be there for emotional support?
We helped out the doula a lot. So like if she asked us to cut fruit or like go get her things like running up and down the stairs. There were like 2 days when the doula left just for her break. And so Debbie and I kind of took over night shifts. And so that's when we got to like let Jenny sleep, let Philip sleep, feed the baby, change the baby. And it was new to us. And so it felt like we were like first time parents. And we're not used to or at least for me, like I'm not used to the male anatomy. And so it was like a lot of things that were different for me. Like I didn't know if I was doing it right. So I think my support was like more the physical portion. And I think mentally it was just trying to like not bring up parenthood to Jenny. So like sending her funny TikToks or just like watching like TV shows together just so she can get something off of her mind that's not being a mother. Nice. Noise. Yeah, being a mother or like baby related.
I mean, I hope that this is true, but I think I tried to offer a lot of emotional support, and for me that meant just letting Jenny feel the way she felt and not trying to fix that in any way, like normalizing the feeling of this really sucks and this is really hard, and letting her just vent that out and process that in a way that felt like safe and appropriate for her. I think it was really important for Jenny at least to normalize her experience. So many people have told her that, oh, motherhood is so great, motherhood is such a blessing, but not many people have told her like it's also really hard and it's really stressful and it's also just really new. Everything is new and it's really challenging. And so I think having a space where she could talk that out was really important for her. Helping out when she was tired, like sleep deprivation, I feel for parents is a real thing. So just finding a support system where they're able to take her shift and take care of the baby while she's sleeping, I think was also really important. And now I think you're getting the hang of just like...
I think... I remember during the first couple of weeks, we all took turns, like 4 hours. Yeah. You take, like 4 hours, you take the shift. Like, I think I got the hang of it, But the first couple weeks were, like, everything's so new. So, like, I was super anxious on how to raise a newborn. And so I think definitely you guys definitely helped a lot. Like, not just emotionally, but physically on, like, these aspects, because I was pretty much bedridden, so.
So what's one baby item that you unexpectedly saved you guys?
I don't know if this is a baby item. I would say it was a fan, like the ceiling fan. Like, just something that moves. Like, I don't know, he really liked ceiling fans, and so whenever he started crying, like, we would just kind of put him under and just let him look at the ceiling.
Because it maybe looks like an aerial
nipple.
The gigantic nipple.
Yeah.
He's like...
I think that is the reason why he stares at it.
Yeah. And I think if it has to be a baby item, like a diaper genie.
Probably. I think it's pretty much like a fancy trash can just for the baby's diaper. For me, it's like the baby sterilizing, like the drying, because you constantly have to change, and use the bottles, and you don't have time to let it dry. So having that, to me, that's like my...
I don't know. You guys use a lot of burp cloths. Like, I think you guys go through
That's
like...
true, yeah.
Yeah, 20 burp cloths a day. Like...
A brother gave us 200?
Yeah, 200.
Yeah, and he told us you might need a lot. They have 2 kids, so I'm using one right now. But yeah, birth cloth, I think is super important, yeah.
Yeah, I think when they bought it in bulk like that, I'm like, there's no way they're going to use all of that. But you'd be surprised.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Is there any baby item product that you guys thought you needed but never used? And is there one thing that you did think you needed but cannot live without?
A lot.
There's a lot that we got gifted that we ended up not really using.
But I also think it's like the industry like just likes to pump out like, oh, you need this, like, your parents, you have to have this. So you're thinking like as a new parent like, oh, we have to have it. But
all of it.
You think back and you're like, it's not really necessary. Like, if anything, like, for instance, like the diaper changing, what is it?
Of station?
Like,
The thing.
Yeah, I think the diaper changing station, I've never seen you guys use it. You guys just change him in the crib or in the bed.
Yeah. Oh, like what came in clutch is the pee pads. So, dog pee pad, or they have baby pee pads too. So we use that instead when we change him on the bed, and we put the pee pad. And we also put that in the car seat. Like, it saves you a lot if he poops or if he pees a lot. if it sips out of his diaper, it saves you on the cleaning part. So pee pad is very useful. The gauze is very useful. The things that we ended up not really using.
We returned them all.
Well, she breast pumps and breastfeeds, so we ended up not really using the formula. What's the formula maker? And then what else? Let's see.
I think
So for example, the
babies,
the pacifiers.
the bassinet, we don't really use it.
Yeah.
We use more of the car seat that goes with the stroller, but we don't really
I
use
think
it.
we return most of the stuff that we don't use, like the
Yeah.
humidifier we got.
Oh yeah, humidifier, air purifier. We have one already, a big one, but we bought a small one for baby room, and we ended up not using it.
Just really
I think it was like
thing.
they also bought a lot of like baby bottles, so then we had to like find the
yes.
right one for him because he was really picky
Yeah.
which bottle he feeds with, and so
Yeah, there's a lot of saying, right? So the hospital tell you if you're gonna breastfeed, make sure you buy a bottle that will fit kind of similar to the shape of
human nipple.
human nipple. But the problem with is that we ended up going with the Dr. Brown bottle because it doesn't create a lot of air and like him to vomit and stuff. So, and he's still able to latch on even though using Dr. Brown. So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
Is there any product that you would actually recommend to new parents?
I think for me, it's like a nice long like blanket that you could swaddle him with.
Yeah.
Swaddling is pretty much like the child is like mummified. Like you're just pretty much like wrapping him, like making sure all the air is out, and he's just like tucked in. So I think that is like a go-to, especially in the newborn phases.
I see you wearing the baby carrier.
Oh yeah, baby carrier is super important, guys. Oh my goodness, if you don't have a baby carrier, your arm's gonna fall out. So if your baby likes to be carried and you have to do things and you need both of your hands, baby carrier is really good. I use it all the time. Jenny uses it all the time too.
For me,
When
it's
she's
swing.
by herself.
well,
Oh, swing too. We got it late, and the baby swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very useful. So he doesn't like being still on a flat surface. So yeah, the swing helps. The baby carrier helps.
I feel like the white noise monitor really helps because our family is really loud. Like we all yell by talking, and there's a lot of like noises going all at once. And I think because he was used to that, like since he came out of Jenny, he wasn't used to like silence. And so at nighttime when Jenny's dead asleep, like having that white noise monitor like helped him more than anything.
And I know that a lot of people say like, oh, you shouldn't use white noise machines or you shouldn't use like a swing. But like unless you get advice from a medical professional who tells you to advise or advises against it, I think you are free to use whatever helps you in your situation.
Okay, yeah. So one thing, people are gonna give you a lot of advices. Unless a medical person tells you you shouldn't do it, you can do it. And I think another thing is like I think people are too they are fragile. The babies are fragile, but they're not as fragile as you think. So, you know, I'm not saying go like all out, but you don't have to be worrying too much about being too careful with that too. Yeah.
I think each child, like I think just from observing you guys, I think each child is raised differently. I was also one of those babies that needed to be like pushed or moved, or else I wouldn't fall asleep. And I grew up fine, and I think there's just so many, you can't do this and you can't do that, but I think it's just you just need to find what works for you and not listen to what other people say unless it's against medical advice.
Right. Right. I agree.
We're gonna pause real quick. Can you stand up? No.
Yeah.
So we wanted to gift you this to support you in the early stages of being a mom.
Wow.
Oh, do you know what's crazy? Actually, I was actually trying to look into this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's,
which is actually
that's perfect.
it's the breast pump that's like portable. You put it. You don't need a UI.
We were telling her to get it for a long time because
She's like, ah.
Like most traditional breast pumps, they're kind of clunky. They take a while. This one has the newest tech. It's quick and easy to use, mobile and hands-free. So you can use it on the go. You can also easily take it anywhere.
That's crazy.
And use it. You can take it discreetly as well.
Hey, look, there's multiple size for French.
No, because Jenny was having a really hard time. The baby would be crying, but she has to like hold her pumps.
Yeah.
Even though it was like doing it, like she didn't have to physically or manually do it, she still had to hold the pumps. The baby would be crying next to her. She's sweating. And so like we were still telling her to get this.
Very convenient.
In the car, like not too long ago, I was like bringing my manual in the car, holding it. So this is actually really nice, and I was actually really thinking about
Getting it.
yeah, but I just never.
Yeah, another problem with breast pumps is they come in like, usually when you buy it, they come with like one flange size. This looks like it comes with 3 different sizes. And so depending on your size of your breast, you could fit in different ones, right?
Yeah.
Because for her current pump, we have to buy a different flange, like buy a separate off-brand to get it work with her. The one that came with it was a little too big. That's so nice. It comes in multiple sizes. I just quickly read it. It came with multiple sizes. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's a new product we're kind of added to our website for kind of spearheading the maternity
Oh
product.
my
So.
gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate
YouTube
you guys.
connected too.
Yeah, you can control it from your phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So nice. Does it have music? Like, does it play music? Like, does it stand? Yeah.
Have you guys heard of Mom Cozy?
Yes. We I think we have a couple products.
We do have a couple products that's Mom Cozy.
This is nice. This is super nice.
No.
We're packing, like every time we go out, we have
Yeah.
to pack the pump, and
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's like a whole box I'm carrying.
I have to carry. Yeah, I have to carry like an
Yeah,
actual
we just
box
had one today.
and,
Yeah,
like
yeah, we had to pack the night before, and it was
There were a lot of parts to wash with that one.
a lot.
I literally told
We
her
were
like
considering.
I was like, I'll buy it for you. Like, let's just buy it because she's like, I can't do anything when I'm pumping because she's got these machines just like. Yeah, sorry. But
She's using it not to know in the car.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like she's basically like immobile
Yeah.
during her pumps. But
Was that okay? Great.
So, what are some small things that Philip or Jenny has done for each other that has meant a lot?
I got to see a different side of my husband. Like I only saw him as just like my partner, but seeing him as like a father, in essence, I think it was very like, oh wow, like he's capable of doing all these things too. Like not just providing like financially, but like there is this side of him that I didn't realize that he had. And it's really great, you know? Like I said, he's not as emotional, so he's very logical, but just seeing him have like such joy in him, like with our son, I think that's something like I haven't like experienced. So it's really good to see that part of him.
Yeah, so for me, I think I kind of explained it earlier. Just Jenny giving birth, tremendous respect and very proud. And then also seeing her, raising this child, it's big because I think Jenny and I are not a big fan of kids in general, like babies and kids. Like before having Evan, when somebody handed a kid to me, I didn't know what to do, how to hold a kid, and I didn't have like butterflies in my stomach when I see a baby. Jenny could attest to it too. We're both kind of like, we get sometimes annoyed. We there are a lot of kids outside or a lot of kids around places. But as soon as he popped out, she like just hugged him and started crying. And, seeing that side of Jenny, like she was genuine about like how she feels about Evan, holding him and just saying like my baby and all these things. Yeah, it's just seeing a different side of Jenny. Like I didn't expect, because we're both not kid people, but it changes. Like when you have your own kid, her attitude towards Evan is very different from how she handles kids in the past, I've seen. So yeah, no.
You make it sound like I like abuse kids.
No, she doesn't abuse kids, but she
No, I
doesn't.
don't. I'm
Yeah.
not a huge fan of them, but I think
Yeah.
now the card has like reversed.
Yeah. So it was really interesting seeing that. And then, yeah, I'm really proud of her, like carrying him for 9 months. I mean, it's something probably I would never understand what it feels like to be, but my perspective for Jenny and it's just changed a lot.
How has this changed your relationship with each other?
So, I'll be quite frankly honest, like you're gonna have less sleep, you're going to be more sensitive because you're gonna have less sleep, and a lot of your time is devoted to the kid. And it sounds horrible because, you're losing time, you're not getting sleep. We've had fights, to be honest. I think it helps, though. It helps us ultimately see our perspective to each other in a way. I think it bonded us a bit more. He's less than 2 months old, so we're not at a stage where he's independently sleeping yet, anything like that. So rough, but good. Like I remember a coworker of mine told me when he had his kid, yeah, I get like 4 hours sleep, but it's great. It's great. And he was like, I need to sleep 8 hours usually, but it's like 4 hours is still great. Like it's just, and I kind of get it. So yeah, there are tough times physically, mentally, but there's also a lot of joy in it.
Right.
Yeah, and then we both kind of understand and try to cope and help each other in the parts where we can't, knowing what we lack on each. Pretty sure more to come, right? 2 months in, so.
Now, how's your parenthood changed how you see your guys' parents?
I don't know if this is like a traditional thing, but we were pretty much raised by our grandma. So because my mom had to work and there were circumstances. So for me and my sister, I think we were mostly raised with our grandma, but it let my mom not be able to know how to like navigate as well when it comes to like breastfeeding. Because for me, I decided to breastfeed, but my mom, she wasn't, I think at the time, she couldn't because she had to work. So it led her to also be kind of like doing things for the first time as well as a mom. So we're both kind of navigating this together, you know, but at the same time, there's joy into that. For me as a mom, I would look at my mom and see things that I want to copy and adapt, and maybe there's some things I don't want to adapt. In a sense, like it's a good learning process for me to like learn from my mom, my own mother, just also like what I should do and what I shouldn't do. It's kind of like a learning process. It's been pretty good.
I think it's like every parent's heart. They don't want to raise you the way they were raised. I remember my dad telling me this. My parents, like they were really poor. They come from nothing and like they were focusing on their business. He always wanted me to have the opportunity to study and do something else, not do what they do. And I'm fortunate that they gave me that life. But at the same time, like I grew up away from my parents. They were busy, but they gave me the chance to go abroad and study. So yeah, my idea is I want to raise him as a mom and dad. Like I did not get that as a kid. I know I was very loved by my parents, but at the same time, it's a kind of regret of my dad to him saying like, I wish maybe I should have just kept you around. But thanks to that, I'm here, and I have a life like this. Yeah, I think I have the same mindset as my parents. Like I want to raise him differently than how I was raised, and I think that was a similar thing with my parents, like especially my dad. For me and my brother, like, oh, I don't want you to have the life I have, so I'm gonna raise you in a better environment. And it's the same thing, but just, oh, I want to raise Evan, not how I was raised. Yeah.
For Joyce and Debbi, what was the coolest or weirdest part about seeing your sister become a mom?
Jenny has a really low pain tolerance. Like she like runs away from flu shots. Like she'll do anything to avoid the doctors, dentists, and everything like that. So just seeing her be able to handle the pain, even when she was recovering from like her stitches and had pain like with breastfeeding, like she was still willing to do everything for her baby. And I think that like showed a lot of like sacrificial love. And so it made me view Jenny differently because I always just viewed her as like more of a friend, even though we have like a pretty large age gap. I always saw her as a friend, but after seeing her become a mom, seeing her live through sacrifice, like sacrificing her sleep, even the way she like dresses and being able to go out and shop for herself, not just for a baby, like it made me realize like, oh, she's like an adult, like we're not just friends, like she's like an older sister. And so it kind of opened my eyes in that perspective, and being able to go to her for like advice, what it is to live like a mom.
Jenny was pretty hard on herself even before she had a baby. She was like, I'm gonna be a bad mom, I'm gonna be a mean mom, because she doesn't, like she said, she doesn't particularly like kids all that much. So but I think even that fear was with you while you were pregnant, you know.
Yeah.
But I think once you gave birth to Evan, I saw such a big transformation in how you saw your baby. Yeah, for the person that said like I hate kids, suddenly like hugging and kissing her baby boy, like it was just really surreal to see. But I think her sacrifices reminded me that she is officially a mom. For someone that has a really hard time with pain to give birth, and then also to recover and take care of her baby and sacrifice her time, sacrifice her health, and sacrifice just like herself, really showed me how much she loved this child. And I think that was just really beautiful to see. And it was a really different side, because she was like concerned that she was not going to be able to love this child as she wanted to, but she completely destroyed that assumption, and she's able to love Evan with such tenderness and gentleness. It's something that she didn't expect, and I think we didn't really quite expect it either.
It was like a complete like identity change. I remember before Jenny even like thought about conceiving, during her pregnancy, like the whole entire time, she was like, I don't know if I'll be able to love my child. But then I remember after she gave birth, like there was a little letter that she wrote. It was like a thank you letter to God. Like, thank you for like blessing me with this child. Like, thank you for trusting that I can take care of him in your will, and then like guiding him in your love. And I think that was like such a big difference to see in her, and like seeing her be like, no, I want to hold my baby. Like, I know I'm in pain, but like just let me hold him. Or like all these things. It was true, just like her taking in a new identity as a mother, and I thought that was really cool to see. Oh, thanks.
Very well said. Tall. You're gonna get hot.
Do you know, I can't get older, so yeah, I think. Are you killed to shorter?
His body 뜨거워요.
To shoulder though?
Right here.
What piece of advice would you give to someone who's unsure about having a baby?
I don't know. I can't give advice saying you need to have a baby or you should have a baby, but there's a lot of joy in having a kid. A lot of argument that I hear is this uncertainty in this world. Just looking back at like my parents and my parents' generation, I think a very similar topic always came up. As a Christian, I firmly believe and have faith that whatever the circumstance is in this world, or whatever is going on, God will bless your child. I had this very thought too, right? Like, oh man, bringing a child to this world, it's tough. And then I think if I look at it, like I feel like the world is turning around more, worse for the kids and worse for the people. Can I do a good job of raising this child to be right? I think you learn as you go, and I only have a child that's 2 months old, so yeah, just have faith. And I think if I know the future, you know, what fun is there, right? And I don't think our parents knew how we would turn out or how the world would turn out or how things would just turn out. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. If you're on the edge of like, oh man, maybe I want kids or not, you just don't know what's up tomorrow. So it's not bad. I think it's a good thing to have kids. There's a very big joy in it. I'm a very logical person, so I very compare in paper, right? Pros and cons. And the paper, it looks like there's a lot of cons. I think it's similar to like having kids or having a marriage, right? Even folks who are not married and thinking about marriage, like, oh, there's a lot of pros and cons. And if you compare, you're going to end up being like, oh, it's better to be single. But no, there is definitely a joy in marriage. There's definitely a joy in having a child, and then raising a child. My advice is, like, if you're on the edge, don't blame it on me, but do it. Yeah, I think it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it. You'll figure it out. We all do somehow figure it out. And the way you do it doesn't mean it's wrong, right? Like, I think Debbi said it right. Everyone has different circumstances, different situation, different life, and the kid's going to be different. Everyone's different. Everyone's unique. So don't hesitate. If you're in hesitation, you'll be a great parent. So, yeah, that's my advice.
For me, I can give like one advice. I think it is to not always, obviously, yeah, listen to those around you when it comes to like, you know, maybe for advice, you know, maybe here and there. But I think ultimately be confident in yourself and trust yourself and give yourself some grace. You know, I think for many parents, you put a lot of pressure, like I have to do good, like I have to be perfect, I have to make sure, you know, you provide the best, you know, but at the same time, give yourself some grace. Like, you know, you're a first time parent, so everything is new to you, just as, you know, every parent, you know, this is all new to them. I think my advice is to, like, for moms and dads out there, to be confident in yourself and not beat yourself up for it, you know, if you think you made a mistake. And I think you also learn from your mistake and take that with grace and give yourself actually a pat on the back because, you know, you're improving, you're learning as you go. So
for Joyce and Debbi, what's a tip for someone supporting someone who's pregnant?
I kind of touched on this earlier. I think don't focus on trying to solve the problem for them. Focus on just being present with them and being present in their suffering and in their difficulties. But also be there to celebrate and enjoy the moment. But also be there to cry with them and mourn with them and grieve with them because that's equally as important. And I think it's so necessary for new time parents to have that space to be able to cry and be angry or to grieve, and being that safe person where they're able to be themselves without judgment, like without being afraid of, am I doing this right or am I doing this wrong, or like what should I do, just being like, hey, you're doing the best you can, and it's really hard, but you're doing it every single day. You've kept this baby alive every single day so far. So pat yourself on the back for even that and being with them in the moment.
Yeah, I would kind of say the same thing as Debbi. I think for me, I'm like a problem solver, so I would try to like solve Jenny's problems when she was like telling me at first, and that obviously didn't help her. Like she just needed someone to like talk to, for someone to listen, and I think she did a really good job communicating that to me. I also think it's just letting her have an identity outside of a mother as well. Like, because before she was a mother, she was a wife, she was a sister, she was a daughter. You know, she's a friend to other people, and so I think like letting her also just touch on that, not just being like, oh, how's motherhood? Like, how is Ungi doing? Like, how's, you know, like what's it like? Like, obviously it's great to ask those questions to check up on her, but letting her be who she was and not always focusing it back to the baby, I think. I would give advice to people who are supporting first-time parents.
And the last one, what's some advice that you give to someone who's pregnant right now, and also someone who's raising a baby?
It's crazy because we actually have a friend that's like pregnant as well. So I think if I'm like looking at her, if I can give one advice is, you really are doing well. Like you are doing great, and I don't think you tell yourself enough of that. And I think a lot of moms are wanting to become moms or don't really know how great they are when it comes to giving, you know, creating a human being in you, that you're really doing your best, and you're really, like, we're all really proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. So I think just to love yourself a lot, even more, you know. I think that's something I would give advice to.
Yeah, I would say the same thing of like giving yourself grace. Like whether you're a first-time parent, you're currently pregnant, or you have like +3 kids, this is your first time living life, and you're gonna make mistakes regardless of how many kids you have. And I think it's giving yourself the grace that it's okay to make those mistakes. Just learn from it, encourage yourself, don't discourage yourself, and don't think too hardly about don't think too negative or too hard. Just continue to learn, and I think trust in God that He'll continue to guide your kid's life even if you do mess up.
Yeah, I forgot who told me this, but someone once told me, like, when you're doing something and you're afraid, just do it scared. Like, do it afraid. And I think you're gonna be afraid, like just watching Jenny, you're gonna be afraid at any stage that you're on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I think just allowing yourself to be afraid and doing it anyways. Sorry, I'm so distracted, but it's okay. Yeah. You have something to say?
He does. What do you want to say?
You want to say something too?
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you.
You need a little like translation.
Translation. Celebrate each day that you get through, because I think that itself is an accomplishment. So just be proud in the fact that you've gotten through like first trimester, and then when you get through second trimester, like you got through second trimester, and then when you get third trimester, you got through it. When you give birth, you go through it. So I just think like you don't have to mentally fully prepare yourself. I don't think you'll ever be mentally fully prepared. I think just do it afraid. But I'm also not pregnant. I'm also never given birth, so I think that's easier said than done. But I think that's kind of something that helped Jenny.
For dads, I guess just be mindful if the wife says something, she doesn't really mean it, right? No, it's true. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs, right? Given that you're pregnant, you have a whole life in you. Just be mindful what you say, encourage them. Oh, she had I think each time, but I remember my coworker, the lady, she's really old, and she's like, yeah, whatever she does and whatever she says, and she doesn't not mean any of those words, not a single one of them. So yeah, if you feel like your wife's going a lot of emotional change, she doesn't mean to do that to you. I'm sure she loves you.
Did I say something?
No. No, I don't think so. I don't, honestly.
I walked it out.
If I really think about the whole, I don't think we had anything like that.
I think it was pretty silent during my...
Yeah, so... No, but yeah, I just remember my coworker telling me, all the older ladies came up to me like, oh, your wife's about to give birth. Like, yeah, whatever she says or, like, do to you, like, it's not what, like, she doesn't mean any of that,
Don't
right?
take it personally.
Yeah, like, she's not personally doing it, right?
Yeah.
She's just in a lot of pain. And even during our first, second, whatever trimester, you're like, man, they're going through a lot. And like Debbi said, like, men, we will never know, like, what pregnancy is like. So the best thing to do is be present, be there for them, and hear them out. Don't talk back to them, right? No, really. If you have a hard time, find a colleague or someone you can kind of trust, talk to. Don't lash it out to your wife. If you lash out, you start saying hurtful things and you'll regret it. So
before we end, just is there any like message or anything that you guys just may have thought of? You don't have to, but if you have thought of a message or something like that, now would be the time if you want to share it. But
I would say like it's not shameful to ask for help, and there's a lot of people who are willing to help, and don't feel guilty to receive that. Like it's okay to ask people to come over at 1 a.m. and say like, hey, I just need to sleep, can you watch my baby? Or hey, can you wash these bottles? Can you throw away this diaper? Like just don't be afraid, because as someone who's not pregnant but watching on the side, we want to help. And sometimes we need to be told how. So
don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's at home, or especially when you're at the hospital as well. And I think it's okay to have questions, especially if it's like first time for everything. So just have that confidence to ask questions. I think that's
thanks so much for watching. We hope to give you the real look into what it's like to becoming new parents. If you're expecting or just starting out, we hope this helped you feel a little more prepared, or at least a little less alone.
And a quick thank you to Dances Medical for making this video possible.
They've also put together free PDF guides for new moms and dads. Whether you're expecting or just had your first, check in the description below. Thanks again, and stick around for a quick message from the team behind the channel.
Hi, we're Chris and Simon, and we're the team behind Dances Medical, an e-commerce brand focused on health and wellness. On this channel, we share practical tips, real stories, and information to support your wellness journey.
And in this video, we had the privilege to sit down with Jenny and Philip to document their story into parenthood, and we're so grateful that we got to share it with you.
If you're expecting, navigating early parenthood, or just looking for wellness products that actually make a difference, we want to give everyone watching right now a discount to shop on our website.
Just use code YouTube for 15% off on your first order. Just hit the first link in the description.
Thank you for watching, stay healthy, and take care of yourself and your families.
Thanks for watching, and bye!